I will have 1 minute cross-examination by Bruce.
So I was very impressed and pleased to hear Kenny say that the way that the vast majority of animals are treated is, his words, an abomination. I mean, that's 100% of the meat that's served at UT, and it's the vast majority of the meat that's served in Austin. So I'm wondering what you think, whether you think that has any ramifications on the resolution about whether eating meat is ethical, or whether you prefer to discuss exclusively farms like Polyface.
I mean, we don't think that on principle eating meat is bad. We think that practice, the way currently meat production is practiced, the way that it's killed, without us having any connection to it, we think those things are wrong. But we don't think the blanket rejection of eating meat is the answer to that question. We think that we can use our ability to purchase products to shift demands to products that are more humane. Just like Terra Burger opened up down the street a couple months ago, and it's a restaurant that is purely serves humane meat and organic products. And by purchasing those things, you create a demand in the market, and if enough people start doing that, we can have a shift in our agriculture, the way our agriculture is produced, and we think that's probably a better strategy for really changing the big problems than just saying meat's bad.
Do you guys eat in the dining hall?
No.
What percentage of the meat you eat would you say is from farms that you consider to be ethical?
Maybe like 85%.
And where are those farms? Because Polyface doesn't make it anywhere near Austin.
I mean, I don't know the exact location.
I mean, there's places Austin, thankfully we live in Austin, where we have a lot more options available to us than most people do. But like places like Beatsville Co-op, all those different places have organic
Foods, Central Market.
And like you said, some probably, I'm gonna get some capital meat in me sometimes, but that doesn't make me unethical. If I'm working and actively trying to exist in the least dominating way possible, I think I can still eat meat and not be a bad person.
Okay, and what do you think of the, I'd like to hear more about your response, especially to the global hunger issue, because none of Joel's animals exist exclusively on grass, and I'm not aware of any other farms where all of the animals exist exclusively on
I
grass.
think the majority of his animals do exist, not just on grass, but also other natural vegetation. Actually, that's our second video. I just spoiled it. Yeah, so that's, I think, is true on a level. But also, the point isn't just that there's a black and white, we gotta make grass-fed, grain-fed. It's this point of we gotta research what we're eating, where it's coming from, and what they used to grow it. And maybe not eat meat every day. I mean, yeah, it's obviously not a good idea to have like 3 double downs from KFC a day. But it might be a good idea to eat meat occasionally, maybe have chicken and fish and as a part of a healthy, nutritious diet. And there's no reason that that's unethical if it comes from a place that treats the animals with respect and dignity, like lots of cultures have done with meat throughout history.
Okay, thank you.
I will have a 5-minute closure for the UT debate.
Okay, I think I'm going to start out with the video that just kind of leads to kill the suspense. This is a video about more about these animals and kind of the way they live and their existence on a farm that is grass-fed, sustainable.
Cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, and rabbits. And since those animals are doing all the work to feed themselves,
we have not planted a seed or turned a piece of ground here for 50 years. That took no petroleum, it took no machinery, it took no time.
By orchestrating a well-organized rotation of animals over various fields on his farm, he ensures each animal gets their meal exactly as they like it.
We bring the cows ahead of them to mow it, to shorten it down so that so that it's more a length that the birds like.
He contains his animals using everything from portable electric post fencing like this to movable pens and housing like this.
So you just pull it and the chickens walk, and they have a new section of pasture. They have new bugs, grasshoppers, grass, clover, and all the things that the pasture wants. And of course, the beauty is they moved away from their manure. Their manure then fertilizes the pasture right on the grass, makes the grass grow better for the cows, and the birds get a fresh salad bar.
He also says,
That's just an example of how some of these farms work. And obviously, these farms are not the majority, but they do exist and they are growing, and we can use our purchase power to help them out. And you gave the example of Terry Burger on the drag. If we chose, instead of eating meat, that we wanted to be vegetarians or vegans and chose not to eat at that restaurant and eat that meat, clearly Terry Burger would go out of business, and all there would be are the same old companies and fast food restaurants that produce the meat that supports industrialized agriculture and the kind of harms that are occurring with status quo that Bruce identifies in his speech. Also, I wanted to talk about this health claim a little bit that he made. He said that it's unhealthy to eat meat. Obviously, it's unhealthy to eat tons and tons of meat. It's like overeating meat is bad, and eating unhealthy meat that's produced in unhealthy ways is also probably unhealthy. This does not have any implication whether eating meat as a whole is unethical. Especially when we can eat meat that is grass-fed and is more healthy. According to a study published in the Journal of Animal Science in 2002, grass-fed beef has lower fat calories, it has more helpful omega-3 fatty acids, more vitamins, and it's a good source of conjugated linoleic acid. So it's healthy. And just one more comment on the waste, and I'll let Kenny speak. One large part of the environmental claims and the food claims is that the grain is ultimately an inefficient way of using our land. However, since most of our food is being wasted in status quo, because we're over-consuming in the status quo, because industrial agriculture is the norm in the status quo, all this suggests that if we want to actually solve the environment or solve waste, we need to fundamentally rethink the way we relate to all resources, not just wheat, and we shouldn't just think about factory farms, but also all corporations, transnational and otherwise.
Right. So in closing, one of the last few things we'd like to press upon you is that ethics are more than just like clear, black and white, sorry. But it's about how we relate to the world, how we exist with everything around us. Obviously, when given the choice to not inflict massive amounts of suffering, or two, we should choose the lesser of two evils. But also, there are ways that we can exist and eat meat that are also ethical. Just like being vegetarian is something that is ethical, we can also use our meat purchasing to actually change the whole global agriculture system. And once we start thinking like that and really start changing things, you'll see things like factory farms will no longer be profitable, and they won't be things that we want. The question, what got us into this problem in the first place was turning animals, turning nature, turning all of these things into commodities. And until we base our relationship with these animals, nature, and all these things with mutual respect, realize that we are just as dependent on those things to survive and exist as they are on us, just like the cows that will not exist without us. Until we form relationships with our food like that, we're always going to see things like factory farm. But the answer isn't just rejecting meat. It's about existing in the world in a way that makes and encourages people to act better around it.
You give me just a minute.
that rotating his animals